You are bleeding the only currency that actually matters. And you don't even realize it. Look around you. Millions of people, moving in perfect synchronization, trading their irreplaceable life force for pieces of paper that a central authority prints into infinity. This is the great deception. In the wealth architecture, we discuss the foundation of escaping this cycle. But a foundation is not a fortress. Today, we construct a fortress. We build what the elite call the invisible vault, a system of asymmetrical leverage. To understand the vault, you must first understand why the current game is rigged against you. The middle class plays a game of linear addition. You work 1 hour, you get paid for 1 hour. You save 10%. You wait 40 years. You pray inflation doesn't devour your retirement. The wealthy do not play this game. They operate in a completely different reality, a reality of multiplication and asymmetry. Asymmetry means the input does not equal the output. It means putting in 1 hour of work and getting paid for that single hour thousands of times over while you sleep. This is the core of the invisible vault. It holds no physical cash. It holds systems, code, content, capital, and audience. Let us dissect the first pillar of your vault, the detachment of time from income. Naval Ravikant famously said, "You are not going to get rich renting out your time." To build wealth, you must sever the link between the clock and your bank account. You must build or buy assets that operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. A piece of software doesn't need to sleep. A YouTube video doesn't ask for weekends off. A dividend-paying stock doesn't care if you take a vacation. These are your digital soldiers. And right now, your army has 0 soldiers. You are fighting the war alone. And that is why you are exhausted. The first step to building the invisible vault is a ruthless audit of your time. If you spend 3 hours a day consuming content, you are feeding someone else's vault. You must transition from a consumer of the matrix to a creator within it. The internet is the greatest wealth transfer mechanism in human history, but you are on the wrong side of the screen. In the next chapter, we will break down the exact blueprint of the 4 assets you must acquire to fill your vault. We will move from philosophy to execution. There are 4 asset classes that do not require your constant physical presence. To build the invisible vault, we must abandon the primitive tools of the industrial age. Your physical labor is capped. There are only 24 hours in a day, and your biological body will eventually fail. We must replace muscle with mathematics. The foundation of your vault is supported by 4 pillars of asymmetrical leverage. These pillars share a single absolute truth. They decouple your physical inputs from your financial outputs. These are not just financial concepts. They are philosophical weapons. They are the exact architecture the elite use to bend reality to their will. Let us examine the load-bearing columns of your new empire. Pillar 1. Code. Software is the highest form of modern leverage. It is permissionless. You do not need a factory. You do not need a wealthy benefactor. You only need a mind and a machine. Software costs time and intellect to build once, but its cost of replication is zero. A program written on a Tuesday night can serve 10 million people on a Wednesday morning without an ounce of extra effort. In the past, the Industrial Revolution required physical assembly lines. Today, your laptop is the assembly line. Code is your digital aqueduct, channeling resources, optimizing processes, and executing commands while you sleep. Even if you cannot write the code yourself, you must understand its power. You utilize no-code tools. You automate your workflows. You build systems that act as an unpaid, uncomplaining, infinitely scalable workforce. Code never asks for a raise. It never takes a holiday. It is a pure meritocracy of logic. By harnessing software, you lay down the first indestructible floor of the invisible vault. Pillar 2. Content. Media. This is the scaling of your intellect. Historically, speaking to 1 million people required a stadium, a broadcasting network, and millions of dollars. Today, your voice can cross oceans and time zones instantly. A video, an essay, a podcast. These are recorded once, yet consumed infinitely. Content is a digital clone of your mind. When you sleep, your content does not. It stands on the digital shelves forever. It is working, it is pitching, it is selling, it is educating. It is capturing the most scarce resource in the modern economy: human attention. Wealth flows where attention goes. If you are not producing content, you are only consuming it. And consumers are the batteries that power the vaults of the creators. Pillar 3. Capital, the silent conqueror. It is the most traditional form of leverage, yet the most misunderstood by the masses. Money is not a prize to be hoarded in a savings account. Money is a battalion of mercenaries. Every dollar you invest is a soldier deployed to capture more resources. When you buy equities, real estate, or businesses, your capital works alongside you. You are purchasing a fraction of someone else's code, someone else's content, and someone else's labor. You are buying the future cash flows of human ingenuity. Compound interest is the invisible force of nature that turns a trickle of water into a roaring river. But capital requires capital. It is the heaviest lever to pull, yet the most unstoppable once in motion. To amass capital, you must first utilize code and content. You use the first 2 pillars to generate cash flow, and you aggressively funnel that cash into the 3rd pillar. This is the alchemy of wealth. Pillar 4. Community, the network effect of trust. An audience is a group of passive listeners. A community is an interconnected web of loyal believers. When you build a true community, you possess your own distribution network. You no longer pay the gatekeepers. You no longer beg the algorithm for permission to be seen. If you have a loyal community, you can launch software flawlessly. You can distribute media effortlessly. You can raise capital instantly. Community is the multiplier for the other 3 pillars. It is your ultimate defense against the unpredictability of the digital world. Algorithms will change. Corporations will attempt to de-platform you. But a community that trusts you will follow you into the dark. Trust is the currency of community. It takes years of consistent value to build, and one selfish action to destroy. Guard it with your life. Lose it, and the entire vault collapses. Code, content, capital, community. These are not separate endeavors. They are a singular, interlocking ecosystem. Code solves the problem. Content tells the story. Community provides the trust and the feedback loop, and capital scales the entire mechanism to unimaginable heights. When you synchronize these four, you step completely outside the traditional economic system. You become sovereign. You trade your time once, and you are paid in perpetuity. You are no longer playing the game of linear addition. You are playing the game of exponential multiplication. You have built the invisible vault. But building the vault is only half the battle, because there is a hidden mechanism designed to drain your resources before you ever get the chance to leverage them. The system knows you are trying to escape, and it has laid a trap for your newly acquired leverage. You now possess the blueprint. You understand the 4 pillars of asymmetrical leverage, but building the vault is only half the battle. Many enter the forge of wealth creation, hammer out their initial success, and then immediately turn the blade upon themselves. They construct the pillars, only to be crushed by them. This is the liquidity trap. It is the great graveyard of the newly rich. Society has engineered a psychological labyrinth designed to extract your capital the exact moment you acquire it. You are programmed to believe that the purpose of making money is to spend it, to signal your status to a tribe of strangers, to play the fool's game of lifestyle inflation. The moment you trade your newly acquired capital for depreciating luxury, you bleed your soldiers. You dismantle your army to buy a uniform. You are projecting wealth, but sacrificing freedom. High income is not wealth. Earning $1 million and spending $1 million leaves you with a net worth of 0. You remain a highly paid slave, bound by golden handcuffs. True wealth is invisible. True wealth is the capital you do not spend. It is the options you preserve. The Stoic architect masters the art of delayed gratification. He builds an impenetrable moat of liquidity. To avoid the trap, you must sequence the 4 pillars correctly. You cannot begin with capital if you have none. The architecture requires a specific, actionable order of operations. Phase 1. Sweat equity. When your capital is low, your time is your only resource. You must deploy it ruthlessly into Pillar 1 and Pillar 2, code and content. You do not need money to write a script. You do not need money to synthesize your knowledge and record a broadcast. You are using your finite time to forge infinite digital assets. These assets go out into the void. They work while you sleep, and slowly, they begin to attract attention. They generate the friction required to ignite Phase 2. Phase 2. Community. Your code and content act as the magnet. They pull like-minded individuals into your orbit. You begin to aggregate trust. You form your tribe. You are no longer shouting into the abyss. You have distribution. When your code solves their problem or your content shifts their perspective, value is exchanged. The byproduct of this exchange is capital. The system begins to bleed cash in your favor. This is the exact moment the liquidity trap springs its jaws. This is where most men fail. The dopamine hits. The ego demands a reward. The matrix tempts you to upgrade your lifestyle, to buy the liability. But the architect takes the black path. He starves the ego. He enters phase 3. He takes the newly generated cash and locks it inside the invisible vault. He converts it back into capital. He buys more code. He funds more content. He feeds the machine. By reinvesting the capital back into the first 3 pillars, he creates a violent, self-sustaining feedback loop. The math becomes terrifyingly asymmetrical. This is how dynasties are built. You live far below your means, completely invisible to society. While they project false status, you are quietly compounding a titanium foundation. Your code optimizes. Your content library deepens. Your community scales. Your capital yields dividends. The 4 pillars lock together. Time and income are now entirely divorced. You have achieved escape velocity. But isolation is the price of this architecture. To build this machine, you must willingly step away from the noise of the herd. You will be misunderstood. You will be called obsessed. You will watch your peers celebrate hollow victories while you sit in silence, tightening the gears of your vault. Discipline is the highest form of self-love. The Stoic builder does not need external validation. He finds profound, quiet joy in the absolute perfection of his systems. He becomes a financial black hole. Capital goes in, but it never comes out. It only condenses. It only strengthens the gravity of his empire. The trap is avoided. Seneca warned us, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Master your cravings, and you master the matrix. Code, content, community, capital. When sequenced correctly and guarded ruthlessly against the liquidity trap, the vault is complete. You have conquered the asymmetry of time. But knowing the mechanics is not the end of the journey. Once the vault is sealed, you face the ultimate question. What do you do with your newly reclaimed freedom? How do you operate in a world where you no longer have to trade your life force for survival? How do you deploy your power without losing your soul? To answer this, we must prepare for the final stage of the architecture, the end game of the Stoic creator. Welcome to Act 4, the escape plan. The vault is sealed. The pillars are automated. The liquidity trap has been starved. For the first time in your life, you wake up, and your survival no longer depends on your labor. Most men dream of the day they escape the matrix, but they are entirely unprepared for the terrifying weight of absolute freedom. When the vault secures your time, the psychological decompression can break you. Without the whip of a master, without the alarm clock of the corporate machine, the unanchored mind drifts. It seeks the cheapest dopamine. It descends into the abyss of hedonism and nihilism. You have bought back your time, but time is merely an empty vessel. It has no intrinsic direction. The architect knows that freedom without discipline is simply a different, more insidious form of slavery. The Stoic escapes the forced labor of the system, only to assign himself a much heavier, entirely voluntary burden. You do not stop working. You elevate the nature of your work. You transition from a builder fighting for survival to an architect creating for the pursuit of mastery. You write code, record content, and deploy capital, not to survive, but because you demand excellence. You are now playing the infinite game. The competition is no longer your peers, nor the market. The competition is the absolute limit of your own potential. And as you expand this empire, you must embrace the final law of the invisible vault: stealth. The ego demands to be seen. It wants the world to know of its victory. The architect demands to be invisible. True power is silent. It does not need to roar. It does not wear logos, nor does it seek the validation of strangers on the internet. You walk among the herd, entirely undetected. Your wealth remains submerged. Your networks are private. Your capital operates in the shadows, quietly compounding. You strip away the target on your back, leaving you entirely free to maneuver. So, what is the ultimate purpose of this quiet power? What do you do with the overwhelming excess of capital and time your vault produces? You become a patron of the capable. You begin to fund the escapes of others. You invest in the sovereign individuals who are still trapped in Phase 1. You deploy your capital to build bridges for those worthy of crossing them. This is the highest form of asymmetrical leverage, elevating the minds and enterprises of others. Your vault ceases to be a selfish survival mechanism and transforms into a multi-generational engine of creation. The systems you have built, the software, the media, the community, the investments, they run flawlessly in the background. They are the invisible infrastructure of a life well lived. You have conquered the great deception. You have refused to trade the irreplaceable sands of your life for fiat currency. You have transcended the asymmetry of money and conquered the asymmetry of time. Time is no longer bleeding. It is yours. Every morning is a blank canvas. Every hour is an option. You are no longer reacting to the demands of the matrix. You are dictating the terms of your reality. The blueprint is in your hands. The materials are entirely free to access. The internet has leveled the playing field, leaving you with absolutely no excuses. The middle class will continue to rent out their existence. They will complain about the rules of a game they never bothered to study. Let them sleep. You have a different destiny. You are the architect of your own liberation. You have the knowledge. You have the pillars. You understand the trap. It is time to stop consuming. It is time to sever the link between your time and your income. It is time to step into the forge. Build your systems. Compound your capital. Protect your peace. The invisible vault is waiting. Begin.